Off script, with jab on the mic. Every story, every stumble, every late night rewrite. Pull back the curtain, hear the real talk. Off script with Jarvis, jab on, let the conversation start.
What's up, Arnetta? How are you?
What's up, man? All is well. All is well with me, and I hope the same for you.
Yes, man. Where you at in the world?
I'm home. I'm in New Jersey.
The Dirty Jersey.
Yes,
You're from
yes.
Jersey, though.
I am born and raised Camden, New Jersey. I'm right by Philly though.
Right.
So the dirty Jersey, that's north and all them.
That's
I don't got nothing to do with that.
yonder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yo, so Jersey, like, it's crazy when I hear people who aren't living in like the areas, the hot spots, still
hmm
doing things at the highest level possible. What is that like for you? And how do you navigate that space?
Yeah, I mean, I guess acceptance. When I say acceptance, that has nothing to do with anybody but me. So, uh, it's just accepting the fact that people like you say that and refer to me because I'm like, who me?
Right.
Yeah, because I look at everything as a blessing. I don't take anything for granted. And uh, at the end of the day, it's all about what I just said. It's a blessing. You could be booked and busy one day and then not. And I think when people get complacent, get comfortable, and stop acknowledging their blessings and take it as like, oh, this is just where I'm at now. I'm the guy. That's when stuff start getting shaky and dicey, and then you start getting reminders from up
Right.
above
Huh?
that
Uh-huh.
yeah. So, but that's how I navigate. I keep the grind going because it's what I desire to do. I actually enjoy playing the trumpet. I enjoy being a musician. So it just brings joy to my heart that I'm able to do it full time in this capacity. So I guess
Right.
that's what it's like for me. It's fun. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. How do you navigate the networking aspect of it? Because you're technically not directly around the people doing it all the time, right? But you've done it. Like
Right.
you're continuing to navigate a space. How do
Uh-huh.
you navigate that?
You gotta get out there. So I come from the era where we were right before social media was like a thing.
Uh,
I'm 31,
Okay.
just to age myself. So yeah, I'm in that generation to where we know what it's like to not have Instagram, and we know what it's
Mhm.
like to have like all social media platforms.
Right.
When I was, I'll say 18, 19, shoot, even before that, if I'm gonna keep it a buck, when I was in high school, we were out at people's events. Like if an artist that we love was in town, or the musicians were anywhere around, we were gonna find a way to meet
Right.
them. Whether it's
Okay.
asking our band teacher, "Hey, do you know this person?
Yeah.
Can you try to get them up over here?" Or I don't
Yep.
know if we see that they'll be at a jam session over in Philly. A lot of those clubs were 21 plus. I'll be honest and say this: if there's a will, there's a way. We got in.
I didn't figured it out.
We figured it out. And it was literally the focus was just to meet those musicians. It wasn't just to hang out. I could care. I'm an introvert. I couldn't care less.
Yep. I'm with you.
I could not care any less about. Yeah. So I'm just, we just trying to meet people. Then when I was in college, yeah, you get just a ball of energy. I went to school in Boston. I'm like, all right, so we going to New York. Then we
Right.
going back
Right.
down to Philly. All right, I saved up a little bit of money from the wedding gigs I was playing. We taking a trip to LA.
Right. Yeah.
So
Okay.
literally just being seen and then playing on the 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 aspect of being seen again and again by the same people.
Yeah.
So I did have strategy with it, like as opposed to trying to meet everyone and everybody. I got out of that mindset because not everyone's for you and not everybody's good for you. So when I did connect with people that I was like, okay, they cool.
Right.
Something
Okay.
about them. They get it. The goal is to show my face again and again to them so that they remember at least what I look like and what I sound like. They'll memorize my name later. And
Right.
that's
Yeah. For
literally
sure.
that's how I got my Instagram name too, that trumpet chick. Because people could
Really?
not remember my name. Yeah, they could not remember my name, but they always like that girl. that girl, that trumpet girl, that girl on the trumpet. We see she everywhere." Yep, and I was like, "That trumpet chick." I made that, I think my senior year in high school. I, like, kinda coined that term. But yeah.
Yeah, that's strategic. It's not everything you did was very intentional. There was
Yeah,
nothing that you did
yeah.
by accident.
Some things kinda happen, but, I look at it as just navigating of just what feels right. I guess, some call that discernment, some believers call that, letting the Holy Spirit use you.
Come on, hey, now shut it up. Yes, come on now.
Yeah. So, just going with the ebbs and flows and stuff and just keeping it genuine.
There you go. So you knew it because you're in close proximity to a lot of things. But people think, like, so I'm from Delaware, so I get your location.
Man.
People will think that, like, yo, you can't still move and groove, but you're so close to Philly, New York, Baltimore. You went to school in Boston, so you still made those pivots to certain areas to lock in. That's smart to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, it takes a lot of grit, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest. It takes a lot of grit. I'm from Camden, New Jersey. We built like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think it's certain things that you should do when you're very young and green.
Mhm.
Go up to New York. I better not hear that you not out here networking because you can't find a hotel. You can't afford a hotel. Man, if you don't call your friends, find somebody
Right.
couch. That is the age where you doing, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, "You're 19 and 20, 21, 22." Yeah, like, utilize your resources. I'm sure you got a friend in New York, you got a friend in LA. Do
A
it.
distant
Uh,
cousin you might be able to stay with,
yeah,
somebody.
family, somebody, or, you might have to play the game to where, you find take the bus up to New York, and then, yeah, it's a late night session, but I bet you it's a bus coming back.
Facts. No, straight up. Straight
I
up.
spent plenty of nights being like, it's just gonna be a long night,
Right.
go up, come all the way back. Shoot, but and then I always consider the people that don't live in areas. Like, not everybody's across the bridge from Philly like me. Not everybody is an hour and a half drive from New York. Not everybody can have access to LA. So that's where social media does play a big part. I tell people all the time, might not none of us can be everywhere at the same time, but all of us can be everywhere at the same time
There you
via
go.
a screen. So I tell people just keep your social media up to date, post everything, show us what you can do, show people why they should call you. Show people what you want to be called for. Like,
That okay, yeah.
man,
Please explain that one. Please explain that one because that's
I
so
got you.
big.
So what I've been observing over the years is that a lot of people navigate as if people are aware of what they're thinking and what they're talking about. And I've learned this via just seeing how people, post videos, and I'm like, this is a good video, but I need context. It's like people are leaving out the basis of context. Like, what's the foundation? What's your purpose in all of these things? So it's I know somebody that was just like, I don't know why no one calls me to do, for background vocals. I don't understand. Like, y'all can call me for that too. And I was just like, no offense, but I didn't know. Like, I go on your page, I never see, you know, clips of you out singing at anything,
Right.
nor have I seen you, like, even present that that's what you want to do.
Uh-huh.
Or even if you just wanna just be seen as a vocalist and not as only a writer. How will we know?
Right.
So I'm like, you gotta tell us, you gotta show people what you want. It's like I love getting calls for studio work. I post on my stories and on my feed that I'm at the studio, I'm doing a recording session. I like getting calls to play in a horn section on, regular gigs. So I'm posting
Yeah.
clips of me at jam sessions, and I'm specifically saying jam sessions so that people can realize you don't have to already be on a gig to
Mm.
showcase a skill set that you have.
Come on now.
Like, please maximize, open mics and jam sessions and, you know, shoot. So you can't get the one of them. See what's behind me. My little
Right.
studio setup, I could just say, working on trying to be in a horn section. I cut my own horns and
Oh, you're putting in the
now
captions. Captions. Okay. Yes. 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 Yes.
yeah, yeah, so I might just maximize all the different avenues that can prepare you for success nowadays. So it's just a matter of like you have to show people what you want to be called for.
Yes.
So
That's brilliant. People, I think, forget that aspect of utilizing your resources. Like if you're in a wedding band gig, cool, play that wedding band gig the same way you
yeah,
play the arena gig. Like if you got just a
yeah.
church gig, approach it with good integrity. Show your proper placement, all the things that you have to your
Mhm.
abilities.
Mhm.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
That's
skill set is skill set at the end
right.
of the day.
Yep.
And at least, say if somebody's like, well, I can't really tell if they can improvise from a wedding gig. At least you're giving them something to ponder on. Like,
Come
huh,
on.
maybe they can. Like give people something to work with. Give them something to work with.
Yes, that's important. And you've utilized
Mhm.
your social media in a brilliant way twice now that I've already heard. People couldn't
You
remember
know,
your name. You coined that phrase. Don't even worry about my name. Just type this in and you'll find it. Like, but it's so real though, and people will remember that catchphrase. And eventually, to your point, it's like, of course you're gonna learn my name as time goes along, right? That's gonna happen.
mhm.
And then you're also saying, okay, I'm at a jam session right now. I'm trying to get this bigger gig, or I'm in college right now and I got a jam session, whatever. You're posting those types of contents, but you're also putting context to it. So even people can add their discernment. Okay, I know the content of what she's doing, so I know she can transfer this to my stage.
Mhm. Yep.
And you play an instrument that isn't always the primary thing that's always on stage. But
Man.
I
Yeah.
did notice you diversified yourself by adding an instrument. Can you talk about that?
Oh man, so that happened by mere happenstance. So the group I play with right now is called AJR.
Mhm.
They are awesome. It's a group from New York consisting of three brothers, Adam, Jack, and Ryan. Uh, the music style is some call it alternative pop. It's I have a good time playing, but when they called me for the gig because they needed a trumpet player, and I was found via word of mouth. And I got a text from the artist and they said, "Hey, we're going to send you some videos of everything, to have prepared for rehearsal tomorrow or the next day. Can you learn some keys parts as well?" And I was like, "Oh, all right."
Okay.
Fortunately, I was briefed on it. Their manager, we had scheduled a lunch meeting with him just to learn more about their camp and everything they're about. And we talked about, the possibility of me playing keys. And I told him I'm open. I'm open, but I gave him the caveat of I don't play keys.
There you go.
So I tell people always be as transparent as possible because if somebody wants you, they want you.
Right.
That's how I work. I operate. I approach things with that mindset, and the more transparent you are, the more open you are to receiving things the way they're supposed to get to you. So as you see, it wasn't an issue. I'm still there playing the keys, and I play the aux keys
Mhm.
pretty much, and I play it to a degree where it's like I'm playing a little sound you hear in the background, and I said, as long as you all are willing to let me grow, like, and I told 'em, do not have me hot in the mix.
Right, 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 okay.
And yeah, there was even a time where I was just like in rehearsal for now, like take me out of everybody's ears. Let me just hear myself so that I could just get, you know, acclimated with just to make sure I'm doing what I'm doing because I don't want to mess y'all up. But now
Right.
I'm good. We in there now.
Yeah, you on the
We in
move.
there. I'm not the most killing piano player, but I know how to play my little parts here and there.
Yeah.
And I always and some we got this joke now where I'll tell like some of the people I'll be like, turn me up in your ears because it's a whole nother show in this world.
Yo, that's facts
I'll
though.
be back there jamming.
Locked in. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but I appreciate learning on the gig in that realm because I was forced to transfer the skill of part playing. Because on horns, we're the main ones. You got a part, you better not be trying to throw your own little flair on that line.
Mhm.
Huh. We gotta play that same part every single show the whole time, over and over and over. So I was just like, "Oh, it's the same mindset. I just play this part, bet,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
just do my little hits here and there." So yeah, I was able to transfer that skill right over. But yeah, it's still something that I don't go around being like, "I can play aux keys, guys." Like,
Right,
no,
right, right, right. Yep.
no,
I'm with
no,
you.
no.
I'm with you.
Somebody just like, "Hey, would you mind playing this?" Sure, but please approach my sure with grace. So that's pretty much how I handle that.
Nah, that's dope. Your transparency was brilliant. And to your point, it's like they want you, and they'll work with you. But also to
Mhm.
your credit, you still had to put in the work. It wasn't like, oh, we'll just let her sail
No,
through this.
yeah, yeah, because, there is a thing that, people do on some shows as well called miming. You see it, there was a there was a video circulating on social media where, unfortunately, somebody got caught lacking, and it's fine,
Right.
but I tell people in the event that you are in that situation, that's where musical integrity comes in.
Come on now.
Still learn the part.
Right.
Like, still learn the part. The difference shouldn't be like it shouldn't matter if it's on or off, in my opinion. Like,
I agree with you
yeah,
100%.
I'm like, yeah, so that's where I be at with stuff. Yeah, where I'm like, no, you should still know the part.
Yep. Miming happens. Like miming happens all the time. For award shows, like this isn't just a
And
one-off thing.
people, yeah, and people aren't aware of that. I'm like, no, that's a thing. It catches us musicians off guard when it
Yes.
happens. We're like,
Yep. You're unfamiliar, but you do understand the integrity and the aspect of like, okay, sometimes you have to do it. Like that
no,
it really
yeah,
helps.
yeah, because it's most times it's a technicality. It's for
Yep.
the stuff people don't see on the screen.
Yep. Absolutely. But to your point, still learning the part. And I'll
Still learn the part, and I had to say that for if somebody watches and they're like, "Okay, so I don't I'm playing this instrument, and they don't have me in there anyway. You can't hear me anyway, so I'm just gonna pitter pat." And that's how we be catching people lacking, because we be
quick
sitting there
too.
like, we be like, "That wasn't that."
That's not right. That's not right. And people
But
know.
the only people that know though is us musicians.
Right.
Nobody else really care. But still, that's where I'm like, that's musical integrity, where it's like it's just you and the instrument. Like still, I think people should learn their parts. So, but yeah,
Completely agree.
that's how the keys came about. But
But
yeah,
you're killing it now. You're useful. People want you to be around. And I always love when people do you play multiple instruments? I see there's a bass behind you.
well, with
Or
this
is that
with this bass
for the
here,
look?
now I'm actually learning how to play the bass. Like
Okay.
I've always loved playing. I always loved the bass. Period. Like all my friends will tell you, my favorite songs are very bass heavy. My favorite artists are the ones that treat the bass like as a feature on their songs. Like the bass
Come
is
on.
very prominent. I
Yeah.
love me a good bass line. But yeah, I was just like, yeah, I want to actually like learn how to play it. So my homegirl let me borrow hers.
Respect.
So yeah, but I wouldn't say I play any other instrument. I doodle.
Okay.
Like, like even with keys, I still say I could doodle on keys. I write
Mhm.
my own music on keys. I'm on stage playing keys. I'm at the point now where I could doodle on that bad boy.
There you go.
So
Yep.
yeah, yeah. So that's pretty much it. I
That's
mean,
gotta help your composition though, because you do compose as well.
do compose. I always tell people there's only one song I've written with my trumpet. The rest of them all are on my MIDI keyboard.
Right. And you're figuring it out.
But when it comes to like piano and actually all the instruments, even trumpet, I learned how to pretty much play everything by ear. Even though my mom was a music teacher. That's the gag.
Word?
Yep.
Okay, we gotta talk about that. So music was always in your house.
Oh yeah, yeah, I'm black. I grew up Christian. Yeah,
Okay.
Pentecostal.
Yep. So it really was in your
Pentecostal, yeah, so super a musical family. I grew up singing in the church choir. Didn't want to.
okay.
Didn't
Yep.
want to.
Sounds about right.
My mom made my siblings and I a trio when we were little. Stand it, but I'm grateful. I'm glad that it happened. And, just with being in the black church, it's training your ears in a way that you don't even realize. Your
Absolutely.
your ear, your timing, your phrases. on the nuances and how you approach music, it's doing all of that.
All of it.
So yeah, my mom was a music teacher and I had her classes when I was from pre-K to 8th grade. The thing
Okay.
was, I wasn't a musician at the time. So it was just like
Yep.
it one here out so
When'd you pick
and
up trumpet?
end of 7th grade.
No,
End
what?
of
So you
7th
missed up
grade.
5th grade is typically the intro to those types
Oh
of
yeah,
instruments.
nah, I was playing basketball.
Talk you was hooping, and then how did the trumpet find you, or what was the story with that?
Yeah, I'm a post a YouTube video on this soon too.
Yeah.
Honestly, my brother was always not in class because he was going to band practice, and I was just like, I'm signing up for the band because I'm getting out of here.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, they would. So the music kids would, I think, like twice a week, like they would go take their music lessons for like 30 minutes.
For
And I
sure.
was like, "Oh, well, let me go downstairs and sign on up." I was
Huh?
like, no one would think anything of it. It was like the perfect plan. Like my mom's a music teacher, so she gonna be happy.
Right.
So, and she worked, like I said, she was at the school, so she didn't care. Yeah, next thing you know, I'm signing up for band. Everybody's on the drums and all the percussion instruments. Everybody's on piano, so none of that was available.
Right.
They just had horns, and I was just like, "Well, shoot, it's gonna have to be the trumpet because I got 3 buttons. How hard can it be?"
Process of elimination is crazy. Okay, respect. Keep going.
Yeah, and that's how I got on trumpet, and it was cool. It did start to get a little lame until the student teacher came in. His name was Nazir Dickerson. He's a saxophonist, but he was there, like I said, student teaching, and he just made it the best thing ever. So he would put on records, different jazz records, and I would just have to play one note over it. It was just about like just getting the sound out of the horn. We didn't have to think about reading music, none of that figuring out like exactly what to note. It was just getting the sound out the horn. So I would just take that home with me, get a little CD, put it in the cassette player or put in a little whatever those things would be called back in the day.
Right, right, right.
Or I would just turn on the radio. I get my little radio from my room, take it downstairs, and I would listen to the jazz station, and I would just try to get notes out while I'm listening to jazz.
So training wow, okay, yep.
So eventually, I would just push buttons, and when I would land on a note that was, I guess, right, I was like, "Oh, that sounds right." I would just hold it as long as I could.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so essentially, I learned how to play trumpet by ear. So I tell people, even to this day, my concept of playing trumpet is like by pressing the right button or just
Wow,
matching
okay.
matching the sound as opposed to knowing what note I'm playing exactly. It's
Sure.
just buttons and sound.
Buttons and sounds.
But yeah, and after that, trumpet was fun. I joined this group called the Camden Little Jazz Giants that my teacher told me to get in, and we were
Epic.
doing the same thing. We were just playing songs by ear.
Mhm.
Then eventually we started learning like what the different notes were, but it was never any music like in our face. It was just like, all right, trumpets, y'all play this sound, and it'll be like that's your C, but that's the trombone player, that's your B flat.
Right, yep. Yep.
So yeah, so we were learning that way, which was great because if you just pack on too much for kids, not first of all, even if you do that for adults, don't nobody want to do that.
Nobody.
So and my teacher one day that was in charge of Little Jazz Giant, Hassan Sabri, he was like, "All right, Arnetta," he was like, "You're doing really good. It's like you're really talented." He was just like, I can't have you missing rehearsal because you got basketball practice."
Wow, okay.
So he was just like, "You gotta pick one.
Okay.
He said, you either gonna be a basketball player or you gonna be a trumpet player. Well, not a trumpet player." He said, "Or you gonna be in the band." So
Sure.
it was a commitment thing. It's like, are you gonna commit to basketball or are you gonna commit to the band that you're in? So they were teaching us how to make that commitment at a young age, which is very important. I know some people be like, "Well, you could do both." No, no, I couldn't. No, I couldn't. No, I couldn't. I feel that would have failed me so bad if my parents would have came up with a schedule of how to keep basketball with the band program. No, that would have been horrible. Because one thing is going to lack focus. You
Yep,
know.
and they compete time-wise.
So
Like,
yeah. So and at the end of the day, so that's when I just sat with myself and I was just like, yeah, that girl did cross me up real bad that last game.
out there getting cooked on the court. Yep, yep, and then you like, "Alright,
and
let me go ahead and grab these buttons
and
real
I
quick."
like I was a great defensive player, but yeah. Yeah. I just remember when I would go to shoot the ball and panic, I would overshoot. And I was just like, and I practiced when it came to basketball, but I was just like, it's just not for me. It's just not for me. And I was like, in music, that's fun. That's fun. So I stuck with the band, and now I'm here.
And
Yeah.
it worked out. But did you start it so a lot of it was you listening, right? That was a big
Yeah.
part of how you
Yeah.
learned.
I didn't learn how to read music till I was in high school.
Got it. How was that learning
Yeah.
curve? 'Cause, you're almost behind a little
Um,
bit.
yeah, it was easy in my
Okay.
opinion, only because, I went to an arts high school. So at that point they were it's like you're in high school, you're getting sheet music.
Yeah,
So but the transition from 8th grade to high school was very important. So by this point, in the band, they realized, okay, Arnetta's going to high school. So they were preparing me. I was transcribing at this
yeah,
point. So this
yep.
all happened in like a year and some change.
That's so
I was the
fast.
kid. I hyperfixate on stuff. Like to this day,
I
I
love that.
hyperfixate. It's like, and I call it hyperfixating because it's like here's focusing, and then here's me. Like
Yep, okay, yep.
my my whole day will be taken over by something. So I was a kid that you never had to tell to practice.
That's dope. Okay.
Like my mom, my dad, and then they had to tell me like, all right, Arnetta, wrap it up. Like, cause like I said, I come from a musical household. I grew up with my mom. She would be getting her lessons ready for school
Mhm.
and her songs ready for Sunday school, and she'll be down there slamming that piano at like 2 o'clock in the morning. No exaggeration.
Right, get into
And
it.
I'd be in my room like, come on, bruh. Like, and then my brother was a drummer too. So between him trying to learn the
Come
songs
on.
for church,
Yep.
and at this point he in high school already, so he down in the basement just
Getting busy down
I was
there.
just like, "Dog." So I was just used to that. So I guess it
Mhm.
just in my head, I'm just like, "Oh, I guess this is what musicians are supposed to do."
Right, yeah.
So yeah, I was practicing day in, day out, and over time, I always tell people, if you just keep doing something a lot, you're gonna accidentally
Facts. There's no way around it. There's really no way around it. Yep.
get good at it. So yeah, I ended up getting pretty decent to where I could learn like a little bit of some solos, and they would put like these easy charts in front of us. It would be like quarter notes, half notes, and quarter notes. And I slowly just started memorizing those just out of repetition. So that their program was repetition all day. You playing the same songs and you're now reading. You get to look at what that song that you have it here, but now you get to visually stare at it all day. So that helped with reading a lot. So that when I got to high school, it was the same thing. We in marching band playing our favorite songs here on the radio, and now I'm looking at what it, get to see what it sounds like.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay. So when I hear da 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 da, okay, I know it looks like that.
Yep.
And now every time I see that rhythm, I remember it. So that's how I learned how to read. And also I recognize patterns. Everything I do, that's just across the board. I operate based on patterns and just sequences.
Yeah.
So once I found that in music, I was pretty much like, okay,
I
I
get
I,
it.
I get it. I
Yeah, I
get it.
get it. Yep, and there's only so many ways you could put 12 notes.
Right.
There's only so many ways. So that's
Yeah.
dope. You said something that's really dope I've never heard before. I got to see how it sounds.
Mhm.
No one's
Yeah.
actually said that to me before, so respect. That's cool though. So as you
Yep.
out of high school, you did go to college,
I
right? I
did,
think.
yep.
Where did you attend?
So I ended up going to Berklee,
Mhm.
Berklee College of Music up in Boston. That's where
In
I
the
ended
bean.
up. Yeah, and I say ended up because I did not wanna go there at first.
Really?
I
Where did
was
you wanna
I
go?
was anti-Berklee. I think I wanted to go to New
Okay.
School of Music in, New York. I was so anti-Berklee, it wasn't funny.
What
Couldn't
what
stand
was it
that
about
place.
Berkeley that turned you off?
That rating system. Why y'all rating people? Be like, "Yeah, I couldn't get in that class because I had a low rating."
Yeah, they're like a
So
2. Yep.
they'll have the highest rank when it comes to, like, their improvisation and interpretation, but very low, like, reading skills, so that would take their I think it was I forget what the highest number was.
Mhm.
I think if you had, like, a 6 or higher or a 5 or higher, you could do
Yeah.
anything,
You could do
but some
anything.
people have, like, really low scores in other areas, and then it would knock them down like a 4. I'm like, "That makes no sense." So,
No sense at
um,
all.
and then I just didn't like being judged
Talk
on
about that, please. Please talk about that.
I was just like, "You're judging somebody based off of their sight reading and whether they can read, period." Something about that just gets what's a good word for this?
Strange.
Nah, Imma just say that felt racist to me, only because they're
Wow, okay.
yeah, yeah, and I'll even take it there, or it's some kinda systematic approach about that I didn't like, because, back in the day, taking it way back, you know, with us black people, we come from foot stomping and hand clapping.
Yeah.
The music sounds great. We come from the blues, we come from jazz before jazz even had a term, on it.
Yep.
It's like the embodiment of Black American music came from the inside, the soul.
Yes.
It got weird when people started bringing out sheet music and tried to use that to demean Black people. So that's why I'm like, so I remember I was like, maybe I'm just mad woke.
Need some sleep.
I was like, I was like, maybe I'm just being too deep. I did not like that. I did not like that module at all. It seemed very just
Mhm.
But yeah, so I applied to go to New School of Music in New York. I applied to go to Oberlin Conservatory. Where else did I apply? I can't remember. But I know those were the other two. Uh, I got accepted into both scholarships and all, so
Come on
I
now.
was good to
Congrats.
go. Yeah, so thanks. Ultimately, I was like, okay, I went to New School for my audition. That was cool. We had to play. They gave you a list of like 50 jazz standards, and they were going to pick a random one, which is crazy.
Insane behavior.
But it was fine by me. I was just like, "Okay, cool. I'm up for the challenge." But then just in New York, I was just like, this place is a lot." I was like,
Mhm.
I don't see myself living here." It's just with the culture of it. I was just like, "Something about this just ain't for me." And then, one of my one a musician I used to get, trumpet lessons from at the time, he was just like, "Just a reminder," and I didn't tell him anything.
Sure.
He just said it out of nowhere. He was just like, "Just as a reminder or just as a note, New York ain't going nowhere."
Yep.
New York won't be there. New York won't be there yesterday. New York won't be there tomorrow. New York won't be there next year.
Yep.
He's just like, you know, just make sure you're taking in, considering all the different options you have. Then I went up to Oberlin Conservatory, and I was just like, okay, this is the complete opposite of New York. This is like its own like little cubicle
Yeah,
of
where
a
is that located?
college town. That's in Ohio.
Sheesh, yeah, you're polar
That
opposite.
mug was
Yep.
in the middle of the cornfield. They just built this random little city.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it was just straight up like music school, but like jazz. Both of them were like jazz heavy schools. I didn't want to be a jazz musician. Like
Okay.
I didn't want that to be like my tunnel.
I hear you.
Yeah, if anything, I'm the person that likes tunnels with doors. Where I'm like, oh, let me go that way.
Yep. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes, that's a great way of putting that.
Yeah, I'm still on the same path. It's still, tunnel vision, but it's just like, let me go in that one real quick. Okay, I'm back in my tunnel now. Let me go. Yeah, them tunnels that just straight up just like just solid wall. That's not. It's not for me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And then, I had a few peers that went on to, Berkeley, and they would come back to the high school. 'Cause I tell people, "Go back and talk to them kids. Go back to your high school and talk to these kids." Um, they would come back to the school and, I would see their experiences and hear about everything, and I would go to their graduations and stuff, and one day I came across this guy on YouTube. His name is Darren Barrett. He had a video on YouTube called Vision of a Visionary, and when I tell you, that was some of the best trumpet playing I ever heard in my life, and it
Wow.
wasn't because he was like it was just him just ripping. I was just like, "Man, this sounds good." It was just something about it that really
Yeah.
touched me, and I was just like, "I wanna work with that guy," and he taught at Berkeley.
Wow. Okay. Yep.
So I was just like, "Alright." I was like, "Okay, I wanna work with him," and Berkeley is like a melting pot when it comes to music in totality, like, you could do jazz, you can do gospel, you can do R&B, you could do folk, you could do rock, you could do classical, learn how to arrange, you could do sky's the limit
Yeah,
at that
anything
place, you could
really.
do it all, so I was just like, "Okay, Imma ignore their little rating system. It seems like a solid place for me." So, by the time I had this bright idea, it was my senior year in high school, and I think it was May.
No, okay, yeah. You missing some deadlines, yep.
Yeah, yeah, I missed every bit of deadlines. I had some people vouch for me heavily,
Great.
heavily vouch for me. Fortunately, because I practiced so much, and when jazz band season came along, we would travel to different jazz band competitions, and I was a feature at the time in the band, so my name was getting out without me knowing. Everybody was, "This girl that goes to Camden Creative Arts in that high school band." Like, wow. So I guess my name was spreading, people taking videos. Little did I know, when it came time, Berkeley has this program called City Music, where they would go to different high schools and I guess they would scout young musicians or just, see different programs. This one guy, so this is one of the tricky parts about being from my area. I'm in Camden, which is right across from Philadelphia. There are a lot of times where we tend to get overlooked because Philly is that's the big city.
Yeah, right.
So they will go to Philly and go to the programs over there.
Mhm.
So here I am in Camden, completely missing out on the opportunity because we're just unaware of what's going on. There was a guy named Maurice Cameron
Okay.
who heard about Camden Creative Arts, and he was just like, "Well, since we're right across the bridge in Philly, I wanna go over there and see what their program is doing."
Wow.
So he went out of his way, came over there, and that's where he met me
Amazing.
and heard all about the program, and he pushed hard to have push my name up there and ended up getting me an audition, I believe on June 6th, about 10 to 12 days before I graduated from high school.
Crazy.
They ended up
Power of
getting
knowing
in,
people.
got a scholarship. It's not just the power of knowing people, it's the power of just doing what you do. Just everybody just has to do what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Everybody just has to do what they gotta do. Like, I didn't say, like, "I ran over to Philly and was trying to" da da da. No, I was just, listening to my teachers because they know all the people in Philly. It's just some reason they just communication. Ain't gonna get into that. But yeah, and then that guy, out of the kindness of his heart,
Yeah.
was just like, "Let me go over there."
Yeah.
And that's why I tell people ain't nothing but the Lord, because I couldn't
Come on now.
you can't replicate that.
You
So,
can't. You literally cannot.
but yeah, so I auditioned for Berkeley a couple days before I graduated from high school.
Wow. What was your experience like at Berkeley? Would you do you recommend it? Did you have a great time? Like what was your experience?
My experience, oh, okay. My experience was when I first got there with the culture shock.
Okay.
I'm coming from the hood. I'm used to being around, black people, Latinos, great food, a lot of culture.
Yeah.
Now I'm up in Boston, Back Bay area, surrounded by white people. And I'm looking like, what is this?
Uh-huh.
People looking at me crazy. So it was definitely culture shock. And then on top of that, I'm now in a world where it's all music. Like coming from
Yeah.
an art school, somebody should be like, "Oh, you should be used to that." Nah, not necessarily. Like, cause
No,
it's still high school at the end of the day. You just get to take your major at some point.
exactly.
Whereas though with this, everything about it is music.
Yep.
And now the one course that you got to take randomly is like a random, like,
Ear training.
not even that. I'm liberal arts. It's like a random liberal arts course that you might have to
Yeah.
take, like,
Yep.
but everything else, music,
Yep.
all across the board. Ear training, your ensemble, your private lesson. Yeah, it's just music straight down the board. That was the fun part. The part that I had to adjust to was how behind I was. Although, I tell people by the time I got to Berkeley, that was year 5 of me playing the trumpet.
Mhm.
These kids have been playing since they were 5 years old, and
Yes.
they're coming from the background of, you know, fully funded private lessons, brand new horns. My horn was falling apart. I literally had to put a bracelet around my tuning slide on my trumpet to keep it from
Jeez.
flying out. Yeah, so they're coming from that. They're coming from the habit of knowing how a musical environment is already, like
Yeah.
just the structure of it. They know what it's like to. I don't even know where to start with this. It's like, yeah, it was just I was just behind in a musical way
Yeah.
that they weren't. So a lot of people fail when they recognize that because it's just like it instead of you realizing like, okay, I just gotta adjust, you
Mhm.
think this is not for me.
Yep.
I'm like, "No, no, 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 no." I knew that.
Yeah.
And also it was also a different world because 'cause I'm a black girl on the trumpet. Almost everywhere you go, you ain't gonna see that, so it's like lack of representation
Mm.
also was a thing. I'm at a music school, so it's predominantly guys there.
Mhm.
I'm in class. Not only am I the only black person in my class, I'm the o there are times sometimes I'm the only girl too.
Straight up. Yeah, absolutely.
And then there are times I'm the only instrumentalist, so it got very, very like, wow, I'm by myself.
Yes.
And this is where people like Tia Fuller, who's still a professor at the school, are very important because she got there, I think, my second semester, right on time, right on time. She's a saxophonist, black lady. So now I have a form of
Killing, by the way.
representation. Yeah, stupid killing.
Yeah,
So
very, very good.
now I have a form of representation. I have a safe space,
Wow, okay.
like somebody that I could go to, and I don't even gotta say anything, and she already know what's up.
Right. Yep.
Like, and not only is she just a black woman, she's a black woman that plays an instrument. So she just gets me across the board. So
Yeah.
having her by my side all my Berklee career, Terry Lynn Carrington was there.
Yep.
I'm
Also
still there.
phenomenal.
She took me under her wing. She super took me under her wing, toured with her while I was in college.
So cool.
Um, yeah, so people like them too. And of course, on top of that, like, your Darren Barris, your Sean Jones, Ralph Peterson, Neil
Yeah.
Smith.
Yep.
It's just the list goes on, especially, like, with the black faculty. It's just so important because we're dealing with things that only them can discuss,
Absolutely.
only them. So, my Berkeley career could have went super south because I had a lot of haters, and it wasn't because I was doing anything. I was very soft-spoken, very shy.
Sure.
But it was because I was the student doing the right stuff. Like, if a teacher said, "Have this prepared," I was the one that had it prepared,
Right.
and that translated to, "Oh, she thinks she better than everybody." I've dealt with that my whole life, from a kid in school, just doing our homework, to in
Mhm.
college, just doing what I'm told to do. It just translated to other people as, "Oh, she thinks she's better. She think because she got the solo, it's because she's the favorite." I'm like, "I'm not the favorite. I'm just the one that did it." So
Right.
that
Yeah.
did do a lot of damage to where it's like I was like, "Okay." When it came time to, like, present stuff, I'm like, "Do I have to present it? Do I have to go?
Wow. Okay.
I kinda don't want to." Or it's like even till this day, I'm not the biggest fan of getting accolades or rewards and stuff.
Okay.
Like, if I walk into a room and people are like, "Can we give it up for Arnetta?" I'm just like, "Hi, everybody." Just
Hey.
because in my head, all I hear, all I feel is the tension of the people that's just like, "Here she go. Alright, congratulations, Arnetta, did it again." And I'm like, so
Right.
that's like a trauma that I have, like, from school and just in general. Yeah, I've dealt with that all my life, even till this day. I go work out at the gym, pick up some weights. People are like, "Stop showing off." I'm like, "I'm not showing off. I'm just working out."
Just working out. Yeah, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess, people's projections, whether they're in light or not, is still for me, it just makes me just like, I just rather just stay to myself,
Yes.
so but overall my Berkeley experience, I traveled the world. Like I said, I was on tour with Terry Lynn at the time.
Right.
I left the country by myself for the first time, touring with her. Was in Switzerland, Paris. It was great. Got to play with Ralph Peterson, got to play with Dwele, Sheila
Sheesh.
E.
Sheesh.
I'm forgetting some, like, big names, Esperanza, like, the list is so long
Yeah.
for, like, what I did at Berkeley and then, like, also with my peers. Um, yeah, like, if I just get into, yeah, my classmates at the time, it was awesome to say the least, only because I feel like I allowed it to be awesome.
Right. You
Yeah, allowed it
locked
to be
in.
awesome. Yeah, I locked in. I'm from Camden. I said, "I'm not going back home."
Yes. Yeah. That
Like I
no,
said,
people don't realize how much that is a motivator though. Like it
yeah,
can
like
be a
I
deterrent.
I tell people I can't afford I don't have the privilege of quitting.
Yeah.
So I don't have that luxury
Yep.
in life. Even to this day, I don't have the luxury to say I don't want to do this no more. I
Right.
don't have that luxury. I don't. And I could have quit. I was homeless in school for like a month.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I had a full scholarship, but that full scholarship ain't got nothing to do
Your
with your
housing.
room and board.
Yes.
So, and I could not pay it for that semester. And like I said, I was shy, didn't like to ask for help because I didn't want to be a burden.
Sure.
Just because I come, just how a lot of us are raised. We see our parents just working so hard to make sure we have a good life. I had a great life. My parents did a phenomenal job, but I still understood it was because they worked hard to make sure we didn't feel the impact
Yeah.
of how hard they were working. So I just never wanted to ask for anything. So I ended up getting kicked out. I got kicked out my dorm.
Sheesh.
Like my key card just stopped working. Security, they some haters. They started saying you can't be trying to sneak past here because I still had the key to my door.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
They was like, you can't be trying to sneak past here. And I was like, I'm just trying to sleep. Um,
I go to sleep.
so
That's
it was
all.
it was literally me with my trumpet case and suitcase and then like a little bag of like other stuff. And I was just kicking in the lobby with my friends as late as we could.
Right.
And yeah, it was rough. It got dark. We was sleeping in practice rooms. I would just be
Sheesh.
practicing. I just practiced the night away where I met one of
Mhm.
my closest friends who was the reason why I'm on the gig that I'm on today because she's the one that recommended me.
Amazing.
And I met her when I was in the practice rooms all night. Yeah, so and unfortunately, that's why I tell people you just gotta stick to the plan. I didn't drop out of school. I would
Right.
just go 9 a.m. class, 8:30, I'm at that door just sleep like this until somebody opens the
Yeah. For
door.
real.
Yeah, and then oh, yeah, I gotta mention this person. They're g- one of the top 3 reasons why I made it through. Jill Scott.
Oh.
I know that's like kind of random. It's just like, whoa, where did Jill Scott come from?
Sure.
So I've known Jill Scott since I was 15,
Okay.
I think. Yeah, she would come over. She came over to Camden for an engagement, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, Jill Scott!" But in my head, it wasn't like, "Oh my God, that's Jill Scott." It was like, "Huh, I like how that lady. I like how she walked in the room."
What was it about it? Was it a feeling, an emotional, like, gravitation towards her essence? What was it?
Yeah, yeah, I would say it was that. I just knew I needed to learn from her.
Mm.
Yeah, vividly remember that feeling. It was just like. she has something that I need.
Yeah.
Um,
It's crazy
and
how
I
you
always
can have
tell
those
people
moments.
it wasn't musically related at all. Like, again, I was 15 years old. I didn't even know I was gonna do trumpet for real at that time.
Right.
Um, and then from there, I remember I just hit her up and I was just like, "Hey, can you be my mentor?" And long story short, she said, "Yeah."
Wow.
And she didn't just say yeah, like she followed up on it. Like I was a part of her BOP Foundation. Um, she would always text and call till this day she does.
That's
Like I said, I'm
amazing.
not the most outward person, so I always tell people you might not see me calling people all the time. People tend to have to call me because in my head I don't want to bother you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm that kind of person. But she came in clutch for college because she sent me a message one day. I think on Twitter. That's the crazy part. It was on something. She had
Mhm.
sent me a message and she was just like, "Do you need anything?" Like out of nowhere. She's like, "Do you need anything?" Meanwhile, I'm sitting in the practice room,
Right, okay.
no place to stay,
No place to stay, trying to figure it out, yeah.
man. Because after this semester, I'm about to come back to what? Still no place to stay.
Right, okay.
So, and then I think it took me a little bit to hit her back up. And I know somebody be like, "What? You not hitting up?" You got in my head, it's not on some
Get it
fan
though.
stuff. Like it's just
Yeah,
not. It's just yeah. It ain't on that type time. Like um. But yeah, I reached out to her and I was just like, well, my situation is I can't. I don't have nowhere to live. And I didn't have to say too much. And she was just like, okay, how much do you need? And she paid for it. Yep, paid for it. And I was able to
shout
get
out
back
to
on my
Joe.
feet.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Joe, man.
yeah, yeah. Her Blues Bay Foundation. It's just the fact that that's why I say everybody just got to do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
She had the foundation in place for people like me,
Right, no, that's real.
people in Camden, Philly area in the arts that need help getting through college. That's literally the mission of her nonprofit. And then here I am needing help in that regard to stay in school. Um, and it's something that's simple as that. So that way, I felt like I was like, okay, I'm back.
Yeah,
I'm back. And
yeah.
once your mind is in a good mood, you start navigating differently. So I was good to go after that.
Right.
Yeah, she's a major part as to, why I was able to stay in school and graduate. She came to my graduation. Whenever
Wow.
she had a show in Boston, always made sure, um, we connected and all that stuff. So, yeah,
What a
she's a
blessing.
major reason why, she's a woman of her word,
That's
woman of
powerful.
her actions. Yeah. But
Yeah, that's important in general.
that's my Berkeley story. We could be here all day talking about that place. So
Yeah, I also attended Berkeley, so I'm always curious to hear where people's response and what their perception is in the beginning, middle, and then their exit into the professional sector where they wanna go with it, so
but yeah, I was glad to get up out of there. Don't get me wrong.
yeah.
Yeah, I was glad
Yep.
to get up out of there.
But you
Yep.
made a lot of phenomenal connections, it sounds like. It sounds like you utilized it to the best of your abilities
Oh
despite what was
yeah,
going on.
for sure. Yeah. To this day I tell students, network with your teachers. They're
Yeah,
musicians. They're on the gigs. Like,
absolutely.
yeah, when I was in Tia Fuller's ensemble, I wasn't learning her music just to get an A in class. I was learning her music to play that gig.
Come on now. Yep.
Yeah, when I was in Terry Lynn's class, I was coming up, showing up prepared with them hard behind songs she had to get a chance to play with her. And all of a sudden, boom, now I'm on tour with her. Now
Yes.
now now she's telling me to come to the ensemble room because she got Sheila E playing and she want me to sit in. All because she knows I know how to fall in line quick,
Quickly.
real quick, you
Yes.
know? So
Yeah,
yeah,
giving
that's
back is important. And I wanna pivot to something if you're okay with diving into it, is your school. You're doing some phenomenal things, which is
yeah.
amazing thing. So you've had great teachers who inspired you, poured into you, and then you pivoted that to return the favor essentially.
Mhm.
What can you
Uh,
tell me about that?
yeah, so I believe everything is cyclic. I think that's the right word, cyclical. Um, one of the two. Everything should go like this. It should connect. Everything should connect so that it continues to go in this infinite trail of a circle. Um, and that's that's what legacy is. And I feel like people have to learn legacy is not about what you did. Legacy is about what you did that continues when you're, no longer there.
There you go.
So I noticed that pattern of just that's a form of success. Or everyone that I deemed successful gave back to some regard.
Yeah.
You know? So, me, I tell people I'm a believer. Jesus gave his life for us. So, he's given. So I'll be remiss if I don't give? So
Yeah.
over the years I always was just like, man, I wanna have a camp for kids because I noticed when I would come back home from tour, I'd be like, oh, what are the kids doing in the summer? I was like, all right, where are the music camps? They will always have to leave Camden
Gotcha.
to go to Philly, to go to New Brunswick at Rutgers, to go
Mhm.
up to William Patterson, to go up to Montclair. And
Yep.
I'm just like, why don't we have anything here? Like, what happened to where we don't have anything over here? So yeah, when I noticed that was happening, I was like, okay, that's just not okay. Because just being from cities like Camden, it's unfortunate. Like some kids just it's a hassle to get to Philly every day.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, they need somewhere to go where they can walk if
Yep.
if need be.
Yep.
Shoot. So I was just like, okay, I need to plan to figure out how to have my own music camp. And I drew up a whole blueprint because I had no idea how it was going to happen. I
Of
said,
course
I'm gonna
not.
just, I was just, I'm gonna just make a blueprint for how it should go. I said it'll be a 5-day camp. We'll have teachers and ensembles and stuff like that. And then I think a year later, somebody asked me, "Hey, so what you been up to?" And I'm telling like, "Yeah, working, tour, yada yada yada." And I was just like, "I'm really thinking about having my own like music school or band camp soon." So then planning for that, not sure where that's gonna go. And then literally like 2 years later, uh, this lady that's on my team now, Vidra, came up and was just like, "Hey, so that band camp you were talking about, do you actually want to do it? I know somewhere we could get funding to kind of make it happen." Boom. She was like, "Do you have a blueprint?" I was like, "Do I have a blueprint?"
Do I? Yeah. Do I? Yes.
Boom. And just like that. Yeah, I was ready. I was ready to go. So that's
Amazing.
how it came about. Then we were trying to think about names for it, and I was just you all was just like Arnetta's band camp.
Simple.
Yeah. So that's how the band camp came along. We are now under a nonprofit, so I'll be launching that next month called the BOP Foundation.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Amazing.
Yep. So as we continue to get our funding together for this year's band camp, because over the past 4 years we've been doing it via crowdfunding.
Sure.
So that's why I'm like, shout out to all the people that have been donating, and it just goes to show to stay connected to everyone. You
Yeah.
know, converse with people online, talk to people. Be personable, have some personality, network, because these are the people that are going to support you,
Yeah.
whether it's showing up or financially when needs be. Like I said, the past 4 years was crowdfunded to the max. So yeah, and there was one year we were able to raise $10,000.
So dope.
You know,
What ages do
so
you deal with?
we do from when you're potty trained all the way up until 17 years old.
That's a wide spectrum.
Mhm.
And in all
Yep.
instruments as well, or do you
All of 'em.
ah,
All of them. But yes, we take them all. We take them all. So we have three ensembles: beginner, intermediate, advanced. And then we have other classes into that. So when we get into the classes around that, that's where we divide them.
okay.
One for the older kids, one for the younger kids. So, but yeah, and it's free. We keep it free.
Wow. So this is brilliant. So your funding is essentially to make sure they don't have to pay.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I don't see a dime.
You
Yeah,
you're
all that money.
legitimately just giving back.
Yeah, all the money that's raised goes straight to operations. Yeah, we got, paying the faculty, the building space, you gotta pay for that. If we need certain instruments to rent or amps and stuff that the kids gotta eat, they need
Yeah,
lunch, they need snacks in the morning, they need, T-shirts and lanyards and nice
yeah,
little they need their swag, so all of those things cost money, and
yeah.
this is over the course of 5 days. If we have a trip, they gotta get there, you
Wow,
know? So, yeah, that's what we're raising money for, so
that's so phenomenal.
yeah, I'm blessed enough. I'm like this. That isn't a like. Oh, let me go. This is another gig for me. No.
Nah, it's just a love and a passion and a care to give back, and I think that's
Yeah,
also rewarding.
takes
Yeah,
a lot of strategy and budgeting. So yeah, for sure, definitely takes a lot of strategizing and budgeting to
yeah,
pull off things like the camp. But yeah, it's possible. As you see, we're going into year 5.
which is phenomenal, by the way. Like that's
Thank you.
definitely
It's mind
incredible.
blowing. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're halfway to a decade. That's kind of crazy.
It's so fire though. And the fact that you're doing this in the midst of an incredible touring life that you have, like you've played with countless people and from a wide spectrum of folks as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's all because of, I have a team. That's
Mhm.
another thing I observe. Like, gotta have a team. Um,
How do you go about
like I said,
choosing them?
I gotta feel you.
Yeah. You gotta trust
Like,
them.
yeah, yeah. I know somebody could be like, well, how would you really know? Hey, man, you start saying prayers for God to show you stuff.
And just gotta pay
It,
attention.
you gotta pay attention. But yeah, and also just, you do like observe, what the person does. Like,
Sure.
obviously, people have resumes that you look at.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, like my team of people, they already knew from day one. I said with this camp, the goal is to have it operate without me there. Like, cause I might be on tour. Like, so, but the goal is to get it to the point where it can operate without me there. So this is where working across is very important. I
Yeah.
always tell people you're so busy looking up that you can't see who's next to you anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, meanwhile, you got this legendary, uh, project planner standing next to you,
Yep.
but you're
Yep.
missing out on it because you're too busy like, "I wanna work with that person and this person," and I'm like, "Your homegirl is a great, like, at coming up with concepts and ideas to fuel."
Yes.
Um, yeah, so that's what I did, I looked to my left and I looked to my right.
Mhm.
And then I realized I had some really great people in my corner, really great people that are good counselors, event planners,
Wow.
strategists. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, everyone that works the camp, they're my friends.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you just maximize their skill set. Like I have musician friends. Teach the ensemble. They teach in
Simple.
school already. Go teach the ensemble.
Yeah.
I have a panel discussion. I'm calling. Hey y'all, are you home from tour? Cool, come in, and it's just, maximizing your network,
There you go.
maximizing your network. So and that's how the camp thrives,
Mhm.
yeah, so
Yeah, this is dope.
pretty
I'm
much how
so
we making
pumped.
it happen.
Yeah, we're gonna leave all the information too for that so people can donate, be a part, help support,
Mhm.
because that's also important. Like she just told you,
Yes.
she's taking nothing from this. This is truly just
Yeah.
to give back. So whatever we can do to help facilitate that and help support that vision for the kids, we will do that as well. It's very, very important. Now, there's something that you said in one of your recent videos that
Oh
I
boy.
enjoyed a lot. No, I won't expose on your own Instagram and Facebook, but it's so fun. But you said something that resonated with me. But you're an introvert, and as am I, and you have a similar thing, or at least maybe not anymore. But you said you would play these phenomenal shows, and you would leave, and you would almost feel like it wasn't good enough essentially, or you didn't do that and you didn't have that gratitude aspect and awareness of what you actually accomplished, you would just go back into your tunnel. How did
Yeah.
you change that? Have you changed that or how do you stay present in the moment?
I think I think I remember the video.
Yeah.
Was it like a video of me like with a hood on or something? And then
No,
I
you
went
were
on
talking
stage and was
about
just like,
solitude, like your whole video about solitude.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, my seeking solidarity, yes, I'm still
Yep.
big on my solidarity till this day. I think I was speaking more so in terms of, I get off stage and people be like, "Oh my gosh, that was the best thing ever," and I'll be like, "Oh, thank you," you know?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So, I don't think it was a matter of me, not thinking I did a good job, it was the way I just reacted to it, and that was just me speaking on, like, what I said I experienced all my life,
Yep.
in school and then just across the board of just letting people's projections of like me doing good made them be like, oh, here she goes again. So I'm just like, thank you. I appreciate that. Like, being super, super modest, which I think I am a modest person to where I'm not the most overzealous. Like, that was, yeah. Like,
Right.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, that's just not my character. But I have learned that there is space for both to
Come on.
celebrate myself and still just, do it in the way I do it.
Yeah.
Like if I'm with my friends, oh yeah, we up.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause it's
Yeah, yeah.
comfortable. It's safe. It's okay to be that way, and you know it's not gonna be anything
Yeah.
weird attached
But
to it.
I really learned how to do it. Like for me, it's not via expression like, yeah, like that. It's verbal. So I just had to change my language around it. Like when people give me accolades, instead of saying stop it, I say thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, just changing how I articulate it. It's like, "Oh, thank you very much," or just saying, "God is good," I put my best foot forward every single time.
There you go.
Yeah. It's a lot of that. It's no more like, "Stop it. Oh, man, it wasn't that." 'Cause yes, it was.
Come
Yes, it
on.
was all that.
You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Absolutely. Learning how to accept a compliment is difficult for people.
Yeah, it is, and
That's
I just had to learn
same.
that.
It makes
You
me clam
know,
up.
my mentors, Tia and Jill helped me with that tremendously,
Yeah.
where it's
Shout out
just
to those
like,
amazing women.
yeah, they definitely helped, mold me even till this day, got a lot to work on in this.
But you're killing it right now. So being an introvert and having a tour, that's also a delicate dance you have to play because you don't want to be in isolation, but you also need to drain your social battery and be out of there,
Right,
not be fully equipped for the show that you might have to do. Have you
right.
navigated that? Like what?
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I think I figured that out, at least by this point. I hope I did. All the touring
Yeah.
I done. um, I think a part of being an introvert people don't talk about is when you're on tour is when it's a feeling of missing the people you want to be with. Like we're
Mm,
introverts, but we still have our people that we want to be surrounded by and people that charge us up and
yes.
the people that we can be more outward with. And you have to learn what it's like to not have that, even though you had this
Mhm.
strong desire of wanting it.
Yes.
'Cause that's how introverts are. We have a strong like we want who we want,
Yep.
period.
Straight
And when
up.
we want them now. Like
Yes.
yeah, so that was definitely something I had to adjust to because what happened at the time was when that feeling hit me where I was just like, "Oh man, I want my people. They just not here." I tried to find that in other people.
Yep.
They ain't them.
Uh-huh. You
I had
start
to
putting
learn that
responsibility.
fast. Started learning that fast. So what happens is you start putting expectations on other people.
Yes.
And it's like
100%.
it's like I'm not on tour with y'all, and I need my people that always want to kick it and look out for me, and know how to cater to you know my personal needs and that retrospect where it's just like that's not fair because they ain't them.
And they
So
never
I just
ask for
had
that
to
responsibility.
yeah. So I had to learn that as an introvert. And then I had to learn how socializing is a part of the gig. You know
Yeah.
how you handle it. I always tell people the easiest part on tour is the gig, like the performance part. The hardest
Yes.
part is when you're not on stage. That's where
Agreed.
people end up going home.
No, facts. That's very true.
Yeah,
That's
that's where
very
people
true.
end up going home. So I mean, just knowing how to get off stage and then just understanding the camp you in. Are you in the type of camp to where they get off stage and they still here?
Yep.
Or are you in the type of camp where you get off stage and everybody's just like, "All right, let's get this." So just you gotta you gotta read that room. So I've been on tours where everybody in party mode. We get off, you go on the tour bus, the music's blasting.
They up.
People, they just yeah, they having a
Yeah.
good time, and I'm just like, come on, son, I'm trying to get in my bunk and lay
Yeah.
down. Like, but so I just learned this is not my world, and I don't want to be on that. This is my world, and y'all just living it. No, this is a shared experience.
Absolutely.
So I the approach I took it as is like, okay, we're all family at this point. Y'all my siblings. We gonna love each other. I'm gonna wanna wring your neck one day.
Yeah, yep, yep.
So, and that's the example I give because it's not me saying learn how to deal with people. No, just learn how to communicate. Like, I've been on tours where you had to establish rules like, hey guys, some people want to sleep, so at a certain hour, just lower the volume.
Mhm.
Or hey, these people like to kick it up here more so. Can we figure out a way that, like maybe some people in the lounge over there and just communicating and just relaxing expectations or managing your expectations. And that all plays into being an introvert on tour because there are going to be times where you just don't have any personal space besides your hotel room.
That's it.
So you got to learn, okay, how can I find personal time? I figured it out.
What do you do?
Go for a walk.
Get out of there.
I'm going for a walk. And if I'm in a situation where I can't leave the venue, there's always a bathroom somewhere.
Everywhere.
There's always a mystery bathroom somewhere.
Mhm.
And then on top of that, headphones are a wonderful thing. Headphones and a book. I
Genius.
have mastered the art of walking around with these AirPods and nothing is playing. But
Love
people
that.
just will leave you alone.
Yeah. Yep. It's kinda like if you don't drink, as long as you have something in your glass, people don't ask you to have a drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is
So,
the cheat code.
just little tricks like that. And but yeah, and then it does get tricky. You just really have to plan because there are times where you got the family side where they're like, "Hey, we haven't heard from you in forever." Your friends too, we haven't heard from you. And what they don't realize is on the one day you got off, you ain't trying to talk to nobody. I'm like, this is the one day I have complete silence. And in your head, it's not that I don't want to call them, I don't want to answer. Da, da, da. It's like this is the one day.
You can reset.
Yeah. So just learning how to balance that because when you have when you got kids, you have a spouse, you can't be walking around here talking about something. I ain't talking to y'all today. That's crazy. Because first of all,
Nuts.
that's where you have to just realize the space you're in. Like, okay, I see my capacity limit, so I know. Let me communicate these windows of time. Like, hey, I'm gonna call y'all in a bit,
Right.
or you ain't even gotta say nothing. Still, it's just communication with
It's
yourself
everything.
and with others, and then just maximizing those days too. Some people get into the habit of always hanging out, and I'm like, you don't realize you burning yourself out.
I don't know how
People
people
don't.
do it.
People, I know how they do it. Tour is a fairy tale land.
It's
It's
crazy.
a fairy tale world, and people get sucked into it.
Yeah.
And the only time they hit reality is when their family comes to a show, or when it's the last week of that gig.
Mm. Yep. Start seeing a lot of people devastated.
Yeah, that's where you start seeing like people change. They ain't hanging with the same folks anymore. It get
Yep.
weird, but yeah, but being an introvert on tour, you definitely gotta maximize your personal time when you can, um, and then be okay with understanding that not everybody is for you. You don't have to hang with everybody,
Yeah.
and everybody don't have to hang with you.
Right.
So find your people and navigate that way.
Or a person. Sometimes you don't get a group. Sometimes you
Yeah,
just get one that you lock in with and you good.
yeah, and just continue to mind your business.
Yeah, that's everything. Just get out the way.
And mind your business. I feel like then if somebody takes it up against you, like, "Oh, she's weird because she don't talk to nobody."
Right. Yeah. That's all you got to say? Okay.
Well, no, I mean, the only time I would respond to that is if they told me. Like,
Sure.
and if it turned into a big deal, I would just like, "Oh, can we have a I don't mind having a conversation. You wanna go get tea or coffee
Yeah.
or something?"
Yep.
Like, on an off day? Like,
Yeah, there's value in that. I kind of developed an alter ego kinda thing, and I just as soon as I walk into a venue, I immediately like, "Okay." I prep myself for it. Like, I gotta speak to everybody, say what's up, but then I go into my green room and to your point, headphones, computer, and I just work. But making sure that
mhm,
people don't feel a way like I'm in isolation with them, I've noticed has gone much better for me, so
mhm.
I'm always interested to see what other introverts do to navigate the space.
I'm up front. I walk in the door with a book in my hand.
Yep.
I'm walking in with a book in my hand. Um, yeah, you see that Imma be like, "Oh, hey, y'all." I'm probably just gonna find the gym before we check in. Like,
Yeah.
I'm, like, subtly letting everybody know what type time I'm on.
Right.
Like, if you see me with a book in my hand, now it's not gonna catch you off guard when I'm real life reading a book this whole 8-hour drive.
Straight up.
Like, yeah, and then if
Yeah.
you see with my headphones in, on my laptop, I'm working on something. So it's like,
Mhm.
and, I always tell people there's no harm in introducing yourself because everybody's trying to learn each other. So it's like you gotta give people a chance to learn you too. So if you're too
Yeah.
closed off, who wouldn't think you're weird? Like, let's just be for real.
Absolutely. For sure.
No,
You
no,
stay pretty
nobody.
active, though.
Oh yeah, 100%. Got to.
Like, you stay on it home and on the road.
Oh yeah, yeah, have to.
How
That's
important
it.
is that to you? Because you pretty
And
locked in for a while.
non-negotiable. It's a
Non-negotiable.
non-negotiable.
How many days a
That
week
is
are
a
you in?
5, 5, 6
Got
if
it.
I'm feeling it.
Come on.
Yeah, yeah, that is a non-negotiable. And it's a non-negotiable because everybody ends up in the gym. I'm like, you're gonna end up there.
One way or
It's like
another.
you pick. I just don't want mine to look like physical therapy and me
Yes.
not being able to step up on a curb at a young age just because I rolled out of bed.
Right.
People talking about they
Yeah.
threw their back out when they stood up. I'm like, you're 36.
Like, how? Like, what yeah. Yep. People
And then
definitely
just,
gotta lock in.
I come from a family of I'm very young in my family. Because my mom had me in her later years. Yeah, my mom and my dad, they just decided we gonna have y'all when we older. I ain't mad at it.
At all.
So it's like the gap in the ages are like crazy. Like my cousins are like in their late 50s and pushing 50 and stuff
Wow.
like that. Yeah. Um, and like my oldest sibling is in his 50s. So
Yep.
yeah, so I come from that, meaning like when I was little, I'm just always around like older people. So I know what it looks like to see people sick um in their 60s and
Yeah.
70s. And then I had to learn that's because of poor dieting and lack of physicality.
Mhm.
And it's nothing to slight them. It's just the common practices of the culture within the community.
Yeah.
Depending on where that person is. If you're in a community where everybody's sitting down all day and they just want to go drink and eat, probably what you're going to do.
For sure.
But if you come from a community where people are active and they're very conscious of what they're eating and stuff like that, there's a chance you'll probably be the same. Not that to say like my mom was very active. My mom was playing
Mhm.
softball up until she had us.
So sick.
Yeah, yeah.
Mom's out here getting to it.
My dad, growing up, he was a track star.
Wow.
So at the time, he would just go on his walks and stuff. He would be the one to take us outside and go for a walk to the park and all that. He was the one doing that. So to this day, my mom is active. She's in her 70s. She doesn't care if I tell people her age, but yeah, she's in her 70s and she walking around better than people I know in their 50s and 60s.
Mhm. It's all about
Yeah.
the good choices, and I
Mhm.
love the fact that you're making it a non-negotiable for yourself.
Oh yeah, it has to be. Like I tell people when it's just certain things in life, you have to do it while it's a choice before it's not a choice anymore.
There you go.
Because it's always going to get to the point where it's not a choice for all of us.
Yeah.
You know, we're
Yep.
all going to get old, God willing. We're all going to get old as dirt,
Yep.
and it's going to get to the point where your body is just like, hey, we're old and crusty. It's a little harder to do certain things, but
Mhm.
your body feels like that. But mentally, you still gonna want to still do the thing. So
Right.
I'm just giving myself a fighting chance. Um, And I just like to feel good. Like,
I'm with
I
you.
just yeah, that honestly, that's really why between feeling good and I like to eat food. So and I'm not going to not eat food. So there's that too. So, yeah.
Are you a foodie?
Yeah. Yeah,
Got it.
I eat a lot of food.
I
I eat
hear
a lot of
you.
food. But I just, I portion things out. Like,
Okay.
I
Do you
don't
remove anything
slam
out of your diet specifically?
absolutely not.
Got
Absolutely
it.
not. Nope. Nope.
So you just control, right? You're just like, all
Yes.
right, cool, I'm not gonna
Yes.
do this fried chicken today, but
Not
next week,
even that. Like, not even that. Like it's not fried chicken today. It's just like, okay, I want a piece of chicken. I
and
can
you
eat the piece of chicken.
right.
I don't get into like, all right, well today I'm gonna eat this and then tomorrow I'm no. Like, if you
Yeah,
went a little too hard on something or not.
absolutely.
So it's just like I said, I just balance everything out.
Yeah.
That works for me.
Mhm.
Some people eat once a day. That works for them. Some people cut out carbs. That works for them. Me, I'm consuming my carbs to the absolute max
There you go.
every single day because, I like to run, I like to lift, and I need my carbohydrates for energy, for fuel,
Mhm.
so it all depends on, what feels best realistically. I'm at the point now where I tell people I done tried it all. I did it all.
Yeah.
So matter of fact, before we got on this interview, I had me a cookie, a nice little Girl Scout cookie.
They're
I
the
had me just
best.
one. I had me just one Girl Scout cookie,
What
and
kind?
some people be like, oh, I can't eat just one. That's your problem. I can.
Right.
And I'm like, you're not cutting out the cookie because you're eating too. You're not cutting out the cookie because the cookie's a problem. You're cutting out the cookie because you lack self control.
Mm,
So I have self control
right.
in all avenues. I have self control.
A
Yeah, that's
discipline you can
why. Yeah, yeah. It's. I think everything's a conscious decision.
I agree. I completely agree. You're so dope. All right, so I want to
Yeah.
shift into this last fun phase here. It's just rapid fire. Okay, no wrong answers. I'm
Oh
just gonna
boy.
judge you in front of your face. Here we go. You ready for it?
Yeah, I did. I just it just like boom back.
That's it. I'm gonna say it. You give
Oh
me an answer.
God! All right, don't be stupid.
It's super easy. All fun. Nothing high pressure. Here we go. Batman or Superman?
Superman.
Oh, okay. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Teleport.
Yes, great choice. What's your most random like road essential that you always have with you? That's not your instrument.
Ooh, dang! I was supposed to answer this fast. That's not an instrument. A book.
A book. Yep, great. Okay, so would you prefer a bus tour or flight tour?
Bus. Oh, I've gotten in big arguments about that. Bus
I don't
all
who's
day.
arguing with you about that? That is
I have a lot of people that debate me on this.
this is not up for debate. It's not up for debate. Bus is way easier.
They be arguing me down.
I don't care what anyone says. I agree with you. If you could do another job in the industry, what would it be?
Physical therapy for touring musicians and artists.
Wow. You're the first to say that. That's dope. Okay. What's your pre-show lock-in routine if you have one?
I'll turn on some music,
Got it.
play some music, and yeah,
Any type of music?
Cleo Soul.
Got it. Something that makes you feel good.
Mhm.
There you go.
Yeah,
Uh,
gotta
what's
zen
the
it out.
what's the main difference for you between rehearsal and showtime?
Oh, well, one is just mere execution. Like, yeah, rehearsal is where fine tuning what we all practice individually, and we're coming together to make sure we got the thing. Showtime is we here.
Yeah, it's game on.
Ain't no,
Game
ain't no,
on.
ain't no. All right, hold on, y'all. Let's take it back. It's game time.
It's
Yeah, we in it.
one and done. Absolutely. If you can give any new musician just one piece of advice, what would it be?
Do what you have to do,
Mm. I want you to
not
elaborate on
what
that
you.
again.
Too many people are doing what they feel like doing,
Okay.
as opposed to doing what they have to do. To where it's like a lot of their actions aren't controlled by their emotions. That's where I'm getting at. To where it's
Yes.
like, well, they know, okay, I should probably go to this event because it can open up doors for this, that, and the other, but I don't feel like it.
Right. Then you don't
It's
want to be
like,
great.
no, you should go do that thing. And working on stuff, like be on top of your deliverables.
Yeah.
You know, if you gotta, it's like today we had this schedule. It ain't about no. I don't feel like doing it. No, I always tell people once you say yes, give your best. Um, but
That's
yes, do
great.
what
Want you
you
to say yes, give your best.
yeah, but do what you have to do. I see a lot of people letting their emotions navigate just their trajectory.
Yeah.
Um, and just keep first whatever you believe in. I believe in God, so every which way I navigate, God is at the forefront. And that
Love
that
that.
should be and within God is what you have to do. That's how
Absolutely.
you figure out what you have to do. Because you don't have to do everything. So we can get into that too. You don't have to do everything.
Right.
But that's how you discern the difference. You just gotta keep whatever you believe in first.
Right.
Every decision should be made in that aspect. So that's what I would lead them with. A lot of people get lost with the smoke and mirrors. It's a lot of that in this industry. A lot of smoke and mirrors. And yeah,
Perfect. I love that thing. One habit that made your career better.
time management.
Great.
I literally
And
just did it. I just did a video on this too.
did you? Okay, perfect. We'll link that too so people can dive into that. And then the last one is pretty simple. Are you a morning or night person?
I'm whatever I need to be person.
Wow.
Mhm.
Really?
Mhm.
You might be the first to say that.
Mhm.
Respect.
Yeah, I'm a full-time musician. What I look like saying I'm a morning person or a night person. Like, I'm
Listen,
whenever I need to be there.
I need that sun. I need the sun.
Man,
I
I
hate those
am
late nights.
whatever I need to be. You need the sun, we'll get a nice bright light for you. Okay?
We'll
Like,
get
no,
turn the
I
lamp
feel you.
on.
But I'm whatever I need to be. If I got a red eye, I'm there.
Right, right, right.
If I got a interview right now, but say if my interview is virtual, but they're in Japan.
Sure.
Their 2 p.m. is our 12 a.m. if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're
You
right.
know what I'm gonna do? Be like, I'm so tired. No, I gotta lock in.
You gotta lock in.
But yeah, so it just as a full time musician, our schedules are all over the place. I can't be on stage in a different time zone and be like, well, technically it's 6 a.m. to my body, so I can't execute that way.
Yeah,
Don't nobody,
yeah.
don't nobody want to hear that.
Mm-mm. Get to it.
It'll be a nice story to tell later, but don't nobody want to hear that.
That's so
Yeah,
true.
so I'm just like, I'm at an age, I'm still young. I'm in my
Mhm.
early 30s. I'm an everything person. I don't see myself telling myself I'm tired at night
Yeah, I hear
because
you.
I'm a morning person.
Yep, gotta get to it.
I'll have the privilege of that later, you know. And that's
Yes.
why when I work hard and I'm able to reap the benefits and people I'll tell people I worked hard so that I could say I'm a morning person or a night person.
There you go. So what's next? What's next for you? I know you always have a plethora of things on your plate. So
Yeah.
what's going on in
Uh
your world?
I'm putting a song out this year.
Yes.
It's
Artistry.
yeah, yeah, and it's hot. The song is good. It's a really good song. I'm looking forward to it. I really feel like it's gonna shift the music world.
Good. Do you have a
And I
release date
know
yet?
not yet,
Okay.
not yet, but it'll be this year. And I know every artist says that, but I truly in my spirit feel like this song about to do something that I'm not even aware that it's gonna do. I think it's gonna go really far.
Yeah,
And
for
then
sure.
on top of that, I'm launching my nonprofit, the BOP Foundation, in
Yes.
March. That's gonna be awesome too. So just a lot of planning between that and, the band camp coming up on our 5th year and other endeavors in the foundation. And what else? Oh, I started my private lesson series, Lessons with Netta.
There you
So
go.
we are in full swing of that
Yes.
over these next 2 months.
It'll just trumpet?
And then, yeah, just trumpet.
Okay.
Yep. So started that up. Usually I would keep my private lessons private, meaning like no one would know unless they asked me. But now I said I'll just make it a public matter.
Yeah.
So that's going great. And
Amazing.
I'll be putting out a couple ebooks.
Good for you.
Mhm.
Very exciting. We'll
Mhm.
link everything that's out right now, we'll link it, and then we'll also tag all your socials and things so people can follow you. But
Perfect.
very, very important that you guys are tapping into what she has going on because it's why I wanted to talk to you. Like, you're doing so many amazing things. You're very consistent as a person. I've noticed the consistency from the things you've been doing on social media as well. It's like, yeah, you very inspirational.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you.
inspirational. Arnetta, thank you so much for being here. Like, we truly appreciate it, and we would love to do a part 2 with you if you get some time later on this year or
I'm
next year.
down. I'm down. I'm already down. Yeah, absolutely. I always say it's good to be had. So
Absolutely. Well, thanks everybody. We appreciate y'all being here. Take care.
Off script with Jab on the mic.